Hey everybody, this is Leon. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to explore the new editor example plugin, which is now shipping with the XR Fragments example viewer, which you're looking at right now. Just on a side note, if there's something in this video you're not completely understanding, go to xrfragment.org. There's more documentation there. You can play with the demo yourself as well. So just so you know. And as a small intro, if you don't know what XR Fragments is, it's a spec which turns your 3D models into interactive, linkable AR, VR websites, experiences. And it uses only open standards, for example, media fragments and URI templates. So I'm very excited about this, and now I'm going to show you why this is very exciting with this new plugin. So what are plugins? They're basically JavaScript files. The XR Fragments viewer itself is just showing a 3D model, and it's just consuming XR fragments and metadata from that model. That's all it is. So this button you see over here, this menu, is a plugin. So you can just leave it out if you want. I've added this plugin. It's a menu plugin, and it shows you some buttons. And I have added an extra button, this edit button here next to the load 3D file. What it basically does, and oh, by the way, this is also just a plugin. So if you remove the editor.js JavaScript file, this button won't be there. So anyways, when I click this, it says click an object to reveal XR fragment metadata. So this allows you to inspect the 3D scene and see what kind of metadata is attached to the objects, and basically see the XR fragments which are embedded in the object. So for example, this teleport button here, you can see the name, but it also has an href with a new position attached. And if we go to a nelnet, you can see that it has an href which points to a nelnet. And in case you don't know what it is, well, before you read what they are doing, it's a very, very cool organization. Check out /project. Check it out, take a cup of coffee, and be amazed how much awesome ideas, concepts, innovations are. Some of them, you might think they are far-fetched. But if you think a bit more, then you're like, yeah, this is the way to go. And actually somebody had to start this. And then suddenly it doesn't feel that far-fetched anymore. So definitely check that out. So going back into the discovery mode, here you can see an object which has two metadata entities on it. It has an href, which sets a URI template variable, state is wild. And it also has an src, basically a logo. And that logo also has a media fragment which scrolls it down the sort of crop window. Anyway, so you can inspect what is going on here. If I exit this by clicking again, you can see that there is already a sort of hover, but it doesn't show everything. And that's the great thing about this inspect mode. Now you can really see what is really going on in full detail. You can also see the names, which are XR fragments, basically. The names of these objects are automatically becoming XR fragments. That is part of the spec as well. So let's do a small experiment. If I click this button, which is executing this XR fragment, pos is scene 1, then you will see we are transported to this world. So what if we would change that? So that is possible if we go to menu, click the edit button. Now we're in select mode, and now I'm clicking this button, and now you will see that we're getting a form. And here we can edit the href value. So if I delete this, it will also act as a pop-up. Here it will list all the used href values, but also all the names of all objects in this scene. So if I want to teleport to another place, then I'm going to search for example, another pos. So for example, pos is world 2. Or let's make it 3. So now I'm gonna just press this X, and if I press this button now, then you will see that it took us to another world. So we basically updated the current scene, and just to if you want to save this scene now with the updated value, you can click share and then download scene file, and then it will download. But maybe you're not ready yet, so maybe you want to add another, let's say this one. Here you see that this image is basically a PNG. Maybe you want to update this to something else in the future. Totally possible. Or you want to tag it, like this is an image. Then you can also just click here, download scene file. Let's do this. So now it's exporting the scene, and we will get a file pop-up. I'm gonna save this as update. For now, it saves to GLB. There are also other formats, but this is a pretty good lowest common denominator, which is supported now. But in theory, there are also other exporters supported by 3GS. I didn't really go through all the sort of differences of all. Yeah, it's more like if you need another format, you will be able to add in a new exporter by just looking at the documentation of 3JS. So this is a very, very cool universal way of exporting a scene which is loaded. And now what we can do is we can load our file. I'm clicking here, load 3D file, and I'm selecting update. And now you will see that we're basically in our start scene. But if I hover now over this button, you can see pos is world is 3. And bam, so we have our updated world here. So this is to show you how easy it is to update a world with this editor plugin. It is a very, very simple editor plugin. However, if you want to go more into detail, you want to have more serious editing capabilities, then I suggest you just open it up in a professional 3D editor like Blender, which is also open and free and a very, very popular editor. Then you can just use that. But for the time being, this is really useful enough. Like if you want to basically make this matrix button connect to your own matrix room, you can update it here, and then you can basically clone this whole world and make it connect to your matrix world. So this is a very, very decentralized, serverless almost way of creating, updating, editing worlds, and basically bring your own networks. So I hope you enjoyed this. One small thing to note is that if you change an SRC, then it's better to reload the whole scene. And the tagging part is more the moment you, let's say I tag this with foo, and I'm gonna tag something else as foo as well. Let's say this AnelNet button. So now I basically created a new XR fragments, because if I now, curious if this works, if I do -foo here in the URL bar, I'm curious Here you see now it disappears. So this is basically how those tags works. You can basically group objects and make them appear and disappear. I will not go into the full interactions of this, but you can check that out if you, let me fire up this other world. Was it, oh, it was scene 1 or scene 2? Yeah, it's this one. So here you can more see how these interactions work. Also, as a side note, to show you how easy this all is, the bottom of this HTML file basically contains all these optional things like peer-to-peer networking, matrix networking, the editor plugin, the front-end plugin, which is basically this simple menu system. You can just leave these things out or edit the files. You don't need a build system. There is no React. There's no magic. It's just, and that's what I want to tell you, it's just using the latest proxy object, which is part of JavaScript itself. It's basically a response to the Vue.js and React trend. And basically, in most cases, you don't need React or Vue. You can just use the proxy object. And this editor object is one file, and it just adds this button. Here you can see new proxy. So this is basically the soul of reactive JavaScript these days. You don't need these huge frameworks. You don't need these virtual DOM things. For most stuff, you're totally fine with proxy. Here you can just see, like, here's your HTML template, a little bit of style sheet, and here's your proxy handler. And I basically have two components here: the editor pop-up, with the inputs, and the editor. This, even if you don't know JavaScript, there is somebody out there who knows JavaScript and can easily just update this, upload it to the server, no build step, boom, and it works. So this is very, very easy to modify. You don't have to be a JavaScript ninja. All right, I hope that helps. And also check out my next video, because great news, spoiler alert, XR Fragments now supports touch using hand recognition in VR out of the box. So your hrefs and your buttons, you can now touch them and they will trigger whatever that button is supposed to trigger. So there's no longer some kind of controls, external controls needed. You can just touch it now. And this is a great win, because this makes it feel really magical. And that's the great news. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next video. Cheers.